Hello everyone. Haven't vlogged in a while. This I guess is my new backdrop. I don't know. I haven't really found a place to have a backdrop. I'm feeling like poop and I'm just frustrated with it. So all the more reason to do a vlog today. So yesterday I had, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, I had my 19th Lupron, 1-9. I guess the gist of what my vlog today is about is like, just because you have your double mastectomy after you have a breast cancer diagnosis and like you're fine and cancer's gone and hashtag cancer free and all that kind of stuff doesn't mean that like you just go back to like normal. I hate the new normal thing. I don't even want to go there. It's just a matter of like treatment really isn't over for many women for quite some time. I did not need chemo or radiation. So people just assume, well, you don't need chemo, so you're fine, and you don't need radiation, so you're fine. And I'm very grateful that I did not need either. The reality is that my cancer was hormone fueled, and when you have, again, I'm not a medical doctor, disclaimer and all that stuff. I'm just telling you the stuff that I know and what I've experienced. When you have cancer, that breast cancer that's fueled by hormones, you're often on a medical, like a pill concoction, or for me, I do the Lupron shots to shut my ovaries down. My Zometa, ugh. I hate the Zometa. I just today scheduled my next group of appointments. So I had Lupron 19 3 days ago, or 2 days ago, whatever. Today's Friday, it was Wednesday. And I was feeling good. My last Lupron, when I vlogged, I felt awful. I think I was so tense. Wonder why. My apartment was flooded, in case you missed that memo. So yeah, that's why my backdrop looks different, because I don't live in the same place, nor in the same town anymore. So there is some stress, obviously, related to that. I do feel like I'm slowly getting used to being where I am, but it's very disorienting when all your stuff is like not here. And like, oh, by the way, I forgot that I was empty nesting, so my kids aren't here either. They have been coming back to like say hi and stuff. But you would think after 19 freaking Luprons, 19 shots in my arm, like, you'd be used to it. Your body would get used to it maybe and adjust and stuff. And I was feeling fine Wednesday. She did a great job putting the shot in. It didn't hurt really at all. I went home. I was tired, but that's like normal. The one before that, when I was like in the middle, I don't even know if I had my apartment at that point. I was living in a hotel for almost a month, I think. But obviously I was stressed and my blood pressure was high. And that, like, you're supposed to have when you have the Lupron injections, you're supposed to like, it goes in your muscles. So you're supposed to be as like calm as you can be. And typically I meditate a little bit in the waiting room while I'm waiting to go in to have the Lupron. But there was no time to meditate that day. There was just a lot of stuff that was going on. So I was very tense, which made the whole experience not good. I felt like crap for a couple of days after I vlogged, so you can rewind and see that. But what's frustrating like now is that, I have my 19th and I'm like, holy crap, like we're now having discussions as to the end of Lupron, which is like, woohoo. I worked so hard to be a glass half full person. But between I got COVID, got cancer, my apartment flooded. It's like, what the, cut me a break, please. And I truly feel like I love my new apartment. I'm here. My kids were okay. Like nobody got hurt physically with the whole flooding situation. But like I've had enough. Like I'm good. Can we just like stop? I'm happy where I am now. I feel like it's some weird sign that like, Jen, you were, supposed to move and like, let's give her a flood and let's make her stay in a hotel for 40 days and 40 nights and how biblical the whole thing ends up being. And like, I just feel like I landed where I'm supposed to be. And again, with a move, people come into your life and some people leave your life. And it's like, whatever. I just take every day as it comes, and whoever fills my cup, that's who I want to have around me. Anyhow, lots of change, but I'm in a much better place now than I was in, like, mentally and emotionally than I was before. So yeah, the discussions are happening now as to like the end of Lupron. The plan was to be on Lupron for 2 years. It floors me that we're even talking that it's like been 2 years since my diagnosis. I mean, that's just like so long to me. It still seems so fresh that like I had the diagnosis. I haven't even really, I'm not on the bandwagon yet that like I want the shirt that says like, I'm a breast cancer survivor, even though I have one. And ironically, I'm wearing my sweatpants. My sweatpants that I'm wearing right now are from Runway. So I guess I am wearing sweatpants that say I'm a breast cancer survivor. Anyhow, it's just weird that it's been 2 years. That means it's been 2 years since I had COVID. My sense of smell and taste are back. Hooray. But yeah, so let me just go in order. So I was feeling fine, and then today I was at work and I just got like super nauseous. And this is how I feel usually after Lupron, but it would happen like right away. It doesn't usually happen a couple of days later. And I'm like, I just can't. I was hoping that because the shot didn't hurt and that Wednesday went fine and Thursday went fine, that like I'm in the clear, you know? And today I just feel like crap. Like I'm so hot. My face is just so hot. I'm just so sick of sweating. I'm so sick of being hot all the time. And it's not that kind of hot. You know, temperature hot. And it's right now it's, I can't think what month it is. It's the beginning of April. So like we're getting into spring, the weather's getting warmer. Warmer weather when you're on medication to shut your ovaries down, which pushes you into menopause, means even more sweating than what you had before. So people joke a lot about the hot flashes. When I got my first hot flash, I've talked about the landmark work that I've done before. I was at a seminar for landmark in class, and I felt one come on, and I was like, this must be my first hot flash, and I found it amusing because it was over pretty quickly, and I was just like, well, that's just a really weird feeling. And then some people tell me, oh yeah, my mom is in her 80s and she still has hot flashes. Like, that is not what I want to hear. That does not make me feel better in any way, shape, or form. But it's just frustrating because I would think after 19 shots, my body would be used to, okay, this is what happens. Let's cut our little break, or let's make the side effects not as bad. And I know they could always be worse, but like, that's the glass half fullness. But the reality, and one thing that people tell me that makes me as a human stand out from lots of humans, is that like I don't sugarcoat stuff. I tell things as it is, and you know, there's good and there's bad to that. But I'm not the kind of person that just shoves it under the rug, that like, oh, I'm fine, everything is great. I'm not going to sit there listing like the 8,000 things that are wrong. Welcome to my 180 vlogs. Because I do throw gratitude in there and stuff too. But I'm just like, I'm tired of all of it. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being hot. I'm tired of having to keep track of where my freaking fan is all the time, because I'm hot all the time. So when I went for my appointment Wednesday, every 3 months when I go for my Lupron, I meet with either my oncologist or the oncology nurse. And I have labs done every 6 months when I have my Zameda infusions. Well, yeah, I guess I just mostly meet with oncology and just to check in every 3 months. So the check-in that I had on Wednesday, it was the first check-in I've had since I had my reconstruction revision. That was the end of January, a week before the place flooded. And I think that's the first time I showed the new ladies to anyone. well, obviously plastics, but that was like a week or something after, or 2 weeks after. It was pretty fresh out. And he was just like, that was just to take the tegaderm off. By the way, I still have 2 marks on me from blood blisters from the tegaderm. So like, just a heads up that that happens. I don't know how you would make that not happen. I did not have that happen the first time with surgery. My oncology nurse told me to be careful in the summertime when I go in the sun because those spots could get darker. I was using Aquaphor for quite a while, and Aveeno. The plastics nurse told me if I massage those in, it would help them go away. Right now, like they're just, those 2 spots are just discolored, and then obviously I have my scar. The scar is healing well. I am going to do a bra vlog at some point. Just today is not the day for that. But I noticed that I had a 3rd spot from the tegaderm that's almost entirely gone. Well, it pretty much is gone because I can't even tell like where it was. And I stopped putting stuff on that for a while. My hair's being weird. So I stopped putting the Aquaphor and the Aveeno on those 2 round spots, hoping that they'll just heal. I don't know. But everything else with my surgery is healing pretty well. My shoulder's giving me a hard time. I went back to work. Let's see, I think originally I was out for 4 weeks after my reconstruction revision surgery. The flooding thing happened. I had to move. So obviously I was using my arm in ways I shouldn't have. And my healing was a little bit slower. So I ended up taking 6 weeks off of leave from work. So I've been back at work. I've actually been working more because, well, money is a good thing. And my right arm is giving me a hard time again. I don't necessarily want to go back to physical therapy just yet. I'm just trying to incorporate into my day the exercises that I used to do when I was in PT. I don't want to protect it and not move it because that's how I got frozen shoulder from the first surgery. It's basically, I can't type or write for long periods of time without taking breaks. So I do a lot of typing for my job during the day. If I type for more than like 2 hours without like shifting how my arm is, it's just the area that hurts. It's not even from the most recent surgery because it's on the other side. It's basically the area where my tumor was that is just still irritated. And that it starts like in that spot underneath my boob, like right here. And then it spreads and then it's my shoulder and it's my shoulder blade. So I've been coming home and then icing it. I've been like consciously taking breaks at work that like I can't work this. I'll work for 2 hours and then I have to take some sort of break. If it's nice out, I'll go for a walk and I'll just swing my arm like back and forth as I'm walking to make sure that like it's just there's some like weight on it and it's just basically in a different position. But there's sometimes when I'm in the zone and I just keep like working straight through and they're like, oh, it's time to leave. And then I have a second part-time job and then I go do that. And my arm feels like lead and it's hard to write even with a pen. So I'm back to writing with flare markers or flare pens, which help a lot. But it's tough because then I get home and it's like, okay, it's time for dinner. My arm is too tired to deal with dinner. Even to use a fork and a knife to cut things. Like I'm still... 2 years later, like I'm still I'm still at a place where like I have to think about what I'm doing with my arm throughout the day. And so at this point it's it was end January, February, March, so 9 weeks I guess post-op. Like I know it takes time. It's just frustrating to have that same feeling again and then trying to remember like what did I do before to make it go away. I feel like if I had frozen shoulder, it would be happening right about now, and it's not. I'm making sure I definitely move it and don't super protect it, but I do know that certain things will aggravate it. And if I went to PT, she'd say like, stop moving it the way you are, or take breaks and stuff, which is what I'm doing now. The weird thing is I'm able to do some exercises for PT that I wasn't able to do before my reconstruction revision, which is kind of cool. Like child's pose. Child's pose took me, with the frozen shoulder, I couldn't do it with my right arm. My left arm I could get straight, but not my right arm. My range of motion right now is fine. But I did child's pose like last week or something just to like stretch out because the stretching helps. And I was just like, I didn't even think about it. Like my head went straight down to the mat, and I was excited. I have lost some weight too, mostly because of the moving, all the running around and stuff. Not a lot, but some. But yeah, I'm frustrated with the not feeling well. And we did a med check-in too. So I'm on Gabapentin to help with the hot flashes. I thought that tamoxifen caused hot flashes too, but she told me, the oncology nurse told me that it's the Lupron that's causing the hot flashes, which that makes sense to me. But I was under the impression that tamoxifen did that too. Or maybe I'm confusing something. I don't know, whatever. The point is, the dosage of my gabapentin is pretty low. And I told her, like, when I get to my second job in the afternoon, like, I'm hot. Like, I'm sweating. I don't want to have to go through the summer and be wearing all black all the time because I have to be worried about me sweating and stuff. And I remember when I started the gabapentin, like, it was great. It didn't entirely stop the hot flashes, but it certainly minimized it. Or at least, like, the first couple of hours after I took it, I'd be fine. When I went for my Lupron, I took my gabapentin at 8 a.m. I was there at 9:30, and she felt it. My face was all hot. My back was all sweaty and wet. And I'm like, it's an hour and a half after I took my gabapentin. Like, that shouldn't happen. So where I am right now with that is my dosage is very low. So she said most people aren't on a dosage that's low. But before she increases it, she suggested that I start taking it again 3 times a day, so that way in the afternoon it would be better. And she said, again, I'm not a medical doctor. This is just what she told me. She told me that, like, I don't have to take it every day in the middle of the day because it has to be 6 hours apart. So if you do the math on that, that's like 18 hours. And I'm like, okay, so what, do I not sleep enough because I'm spreading it out, you know? But on the days when I know I'm doing a lot of writing or whatever, which for me is pretty consistent, I can take another gabapentin in the middle of the day. And just make sure I spread it out for another 6 hours when I'm done. Did I do that math right? I don't know. I'm off today. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not really funny. It's just it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And with the flood and stuff, and my clothes being ruined because it poured rusty water all over my clothes, and like, in order to get them clean, they have to wash them in hot water. What happens when you wash something in hot water? It shrinks. So my clothes don't fit me anymore. And I know a lot of women like to shop. I can't stand shopping. I have to buy shirts. I right now have, I think, 2 short sleeve shirts that I own that I could wear. One is just a t-shirty kind of thing that I wouldn't wear to work. But it's just, it's frustrating. People just make judgments about things. I started, or I'll finish the part about the appointment, and then I'll talk about attitude. Because that was the topic of my breast cancer support group last week, was attitude. And I kind of had an attitude about it when we were talking about it, because I'm like, you can't just tell us all to be super cheery all the time, because that's just not realistic. But I'll get to that in a second. Hold that thought, see if I remember. So I scheduled my next group of Luprons, and then my next Zometa, which sucks, but that Zometa will be 4 out of 6, so I'll be super thrilled. They are doing a bone density scan around the time of that Zometa, because it will have been 2 years, well, like I was saying, 2 years since I started the Zometa. So we'll take a look. My first bone density scan was fine. So the hope is that, that's what she was telling me. The tamoxifen actually helps with bone growth, or stability, whatever, which I wasn't aware of. But they'll do a bone density test along with the Zometa. They have to, because the whole point of the Zometa is to keep your bones strong, because all the other drugs and crap weaken your bones over time. And even just as a woman, period, like, your bones get weaker over time as you age. So hopefully I'll have bones of steel. Not literally, because I don't want another kidney stone. So that's that. And then the next discussion again is the end of Lupron. So that's something that I have appointments scheduled out now 6 months, I think. I have 5 more Luprons. Is that right? Yes, I have 5 more Luprons. And I hope and pray that I get off the Lupron, I don't get my period, I'm in menopause, and I'm fine. We'll see what happens. I don't know. My bleeding was pretty bad after I was diagnosed and my IUD was taken out, and it was like the floodgates opened, and then like took the Lupron. 2 days later, period stopped, and like that was that. So that was awesome. They say the average age of menopause is 51. I am 51. So here's hoping that like I'm done. There's no way to know until you like take yourself off and then see what happens. So we'll have to just see what happens. And I ask you all to send me good vibes and pray that like when they when they take me off the Lupron, nothing happens. And I don't ever have to wear a sanitary pad or a tampon ever again, which would be just glorious. I'm creating that possibility of glass half fullness and and no more menstruation for Jen. Ugh. Oh, so attitude. So yeah, I got into this program that my oncologist was one of the founding people of the program. I've mentioned it before. It's the paving program. I've been trying to get into that for almost 2 years, and finally now I'm in. It comes with a thick workbook, which is great. The first, like each time or each meeting, it's through Zoom, it's not in person, which I don't like. I get because of COVID, but I don't do well with two-dimensional like interactions with people. You want to have the same connection than if you saw them in person. And I understand why they're doing it because it's COVID and you have some people are still in active treatment for breast cancer, so you have to be careful. But it's not like you can sit there and like chit chat when stuff is done and like, make friends and all that kind of stuff, because you leave the Zoom and then that's it. You leave the Zoom. So I don't like that whole format, but I understand why they do it. So the first one was just like getting to know everyone. And there's 20 some people on the group. So like listening to cancer stories for that long was a lot. You hear stories and you compare them to your own story, and I get how common breast cancer is. I get how common cancer is. I feel like, do glass half empty. It's just like, I feel like cancers are so common that like at some point, I feel like almost everyone's probably going to get cancer. I know that sounds horrible, but it's just like, and it's not like a death sentence when they, when I got diagnosed, they're like, you're not going to die from this. And I'm like, awesome. That's not what I said at the time. But like, obviously a lot of cancers are very treatable, and then you have it and you just, take meds or whatever it is that you do, or stay out of the sun or whatever it is that you do. But it was a lot to listen to everyone tell their stories. And like when I told my story, which was pretty abridged, even though I chat a lot, I'm already at 23 minutes. People were getting stuff out of what I was saying, which made me feel good that even though I didn't have chemo, when I didn't have radiation, that the stuff that is in my journey, other people could relate to. But I still have a hard time with, I want the support of people who get it, and I don't want to be in the group of breast cancer survivors because I never wanted to have cancer in the first place. I don't want to define myself that way. Even though like my subscribers have been increasing dramatically lately on these, and I'm glad they're helpful for other people, especially as so much time has passed for me. Like, I want to be helpful for other people. That's why I'm doing this. Well, at first it was for me, and then I saw how much it was helping other people, and I kept going. But I don't want to be defined by this. Partly why I don't put my name on all this stuff either. Like, I don't promote anything. It just, this ends up being embedded with other videos, and then, you know, people learn stuff and stuff is beneficial for them, and that's awesome. I'm glad to help people make this process a little less scary and, you know, be real about stuff. But I don't want to be in the club. I mean, I'm grateful I'm a breast cancer survivor. There's no question. Like, I've got way too much life to live still to even, like, go there. Like, no. This is not my time. Like, I'm in the prime of, like, my life right now. Now's not the time. Well, maybe 45 could have been the prime of my life. I don't know. Anyway, I am up like 25 pounds, but anyway, I want to be around people that have had breast cancer because of the unity part, and I don't want to be associated with people that had breast cancer because I don't want to be known as, you know, oh yeah, she had breast cancer. I just want to be Jen. And, like, too late. You know, it is what it is. I'll be totally shallow and say that, like, after the second reconstruction revision, like, my boobs look pretty nice. Today was the first day, actually, I reached up high with my right arm and I noticed, like, just the way I reached and the way the light was hitting my implant. He did a really nice job with the liposuction on the side, which is nice to say now, because when I talked about the lipo before, like, oh my God, it looked horrible. But it's much more just regularly curved. On the top, they must have taken a lymph node out at the top because I could see the little, like, indentation thing that I just had never noticed before. But I'm in a new place. The sun hits differently and I see angles of my body differently than I saw before. But in general, I'm very happy with what my boobs look like. I called them my boobs. Hey! What they look like right now. And the interesting thing is I'm kind of getting used to the fact that I don't have my nipples. Or I don't have nipples. It looks great in a tank top, man. There's no headlights. I'll deal with that when, like, that's a whole other, I can't even go there right now. But anyway, that was the first one. The second one was about fitness, I think, which is what kind of pushed me into, like, stretching out and doing some exercises that I had during PT to help with my shoulder. And then last week's was about attitude. So, of course, everything is like, here's why you should be happy and grateful, and here's all the things that you can do, and you could have a gratitude journal. Well, I used to have a gratitude journal right next to my bed. I have absolutely no idea where it is right now, and if I found it, it might even be so wet that you can't read what I was grateful for. And most people don't go back and read their gratitude things. I need to get another journal. Like, I will do that. I had so many of them. Oh my gosh. And, like, stuff is still packed that I haven't unpacked yet because I can only do so much with my arms at any given day. But it was so, like, ridiculously glass half fullness. And I'm like, this is a difference for me between a Jen with one end and a Jen with two ends. And I'm like, say what you will about my judgments, whatever. I feel like a Jen with one end would be like cheerleader Jen, you know, perky, happy, positive, happy, supportive, blah, blah, blah. I said happy twice. Just like super cheery and like it'll be okay. And like, yay, I have this and yeah, I have this and blah, blah, blah. Whereas the Jen with two ends is like more real. Like I was not a cheerleader. I was in kick line, which is different. I did have pom-poms, but we never did like any rhymey, we actually never spoke. That's the difference. Kick line, you don't speak. At least we didn't speak. I think they do now. But I was in kick line, which was kind of sort of like a cheerleader, but you don't talk. You do routines to like songs and stuff. Anyway, 2N Jen is much more like realistic about stuff. And everyone's sharing all that positive, positive, positive. And I pipe in, raise my virtual hands, and I'm like, I hate to be like the bearer of horrible news, but I'm like, they're making it sound to me like it's not okay to be mad. It's not okay to be sad. You have to shut those emotions off and just be happy all the time. And I don't think it's healthy to do that. I know it's not healthy to do that. Last Saturday, I went to my meditation group and I just lost my shit. One of my very good friends is there, and I was meditating and I just couldn't hold it in anymore. And just everything came. It was the week before Lupron. I know I always get more emotional anyway. And I just, when it was time to leave, I'm like, I'm not ready to leave. I just cried. Like, I just cried. And I needed to get it out. Like, I've been so strong with all this stuff going on with, moving and dealing with all this crap with the pipe bursting and stuff. And like, I don't want people to think that they have to be like so strong all the time. You don't, as I'm getting teary-eyed now, you don't have to put on this brave front like all the time, because there's only so much that you can do that for. Like, you're still human. Like, cancer, it for us, this group, like, it happened. And it sucks, and it's awful. And yes, we're here, and there's a billion things to be grateful for. Ugh. There's a billion things to be grateful for. And you have an array of emotions. And it is not healthy to not let those out. So that's what I said. I'm like, I'm not trying to be like insubordinate or anything. But I'm like, to me, it's okay to be angry. And it's okay to cry. I'm not saying to stay in those places, because that's not healthy either. But it's okay to have those emotions. Like, I was using the example, which I mentioned in an earlier vlog, how like when people don't know what to say when you tell them that you had breast cancer or any cancer. And I don't even remember who it was. I feel like it was like someone at Dunkin' Donuts or something. Like someone I don't know at all. It was someone at Dunkin' Donuts. I don't even know how it came up in conversation. Maybe it was October and they had like pink donuts. I don't remember. But I told the woman I had breast cancer. I don't even know why. And she goes, that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, it does suck. And that was the most like validating thing that some total stranger said to me, rather than saying, oh, I'm sorry, like, and give you the puppy dog face, which is fine, but just not repeatedly, because the puppy dog face gets old after a while. But she was just like, that sucks. I'm like, it does suck. Thank you. Thank you for like validating me that it fucking sucks. So I didn't use the F-bomb, but I did say that in the group, and then like apparently started this like coup with everybody else that was on, and they're like, yeah, I'm sad too, and I'm mad, and I'm this, and I'm that. And I'm like, oh crap, they're gonna like be mad at me. But I just turned the whole like, session into a totally different direction. But when it was all said and done and we all settled down, the woman that was running it was saying like, she was glad. It was the first time that like we actually had a conversation where several of us were giving our 2 cents kind of back and forth. And it was almost like the participants took over the Zoom call. Not in a coup kind of way, but like in a, like that's what we're there for. We're there to like, of course, learn stuff, but also support each other too. And like I said, you can't stay there. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that, if you didn't have chemo or radiation, I didn't lose my hair, and which is funny because like I say I don't lose my hair, but there's something, I don't know if it's just age or if there's something with the meds or something, but like my eyebrow hair, well, my hair in general, and just not on my head, has thinned out substantially. I bought an eyebrow, I should mention what kind it is because it's really good. I bought an eyebrow pencil kind of thing at Sephora. And I went there and talked to them because I'm like, I used a regular, just like, it looks like a pencil. And I'm like, it just looks so fake. And it makes my eyebrows a lot, like, not the right color that they're supposed to be. It's not natural looking. And she showed me this, like, super thin, I have no idea what brand it is. If I remember, I'll show it to you next time. But it's this super thin eyebrow pencil. And she matched it, like, perfectly to the color of my eyebrows. But it's not shaped like a pencil. It has like lines on it. So when you go like that, it actually like looks like it's drawing like hair, like in like 2 lines. It's like hair. And I can make, well, I don't know, because it's later in the day. I don't know if it's still there or not. but it makes my eyebrows look like more natural and not like what they looked like before. But even my armpits and my legs do not grow, my whole body does not grow as much hair, except for my head. My head seems pretty like much the same, but I don't know if that's part of the menopause thing with the Lupron, like that it just makes less hair grow. Like I don't have to shave my legs nearly as much as I used to have to, which is just weird. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna finish up here because like I'm just uncomfortable. Like my body temperature is just off. I mean, maybe I'm getting cold. I doubt it though. I know allergies are the issue right now. I'm just like I'm sick of all the little things. I started getting a foot cramp today, and I'm like, I haven't had a foot cramp in like so long. But it doesn't go back to being perfect, and you can say new normal as much as you want to. Like no one has a normal day. Every day is different. How anyone feels regardless of what's going on, like you feel different. And I guess out of talking, like, I just want to validate whatever feelings, like, if people that are watching, like if you are someone who's battling breast cancer, or you had your surgery and you think you're done, so you're not battling it. If you're still on meds, like if you're on tamoxifen, you're on that for a long time. Like to me, I consider that as that's you still battling stuff, because I get it's an insurance policy, but like tamoxifen has side effects, and like no matter how old you are, there are going to be different kinds of side effects. And it's okay to not be happy with all this shit. Like you don't have to like push to put a happy face on all the time. And you don't have to feel guilty about like crying. My friend that I like bawled in front of last weekend, she's like, Jen, you just look tired. And she didn't mean it in a mean way. She told me, that I'm the kind of person that can show up in a baseball hat and sweats and still look beautiful. Isn't that sweet? I love her. Not just because of that, but she told me I look tired. And when I looked in the mirror, I'm like, I do. I look tired. I circled under my eyes and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not sleeping solidly for a very good reason. But she's like, you just have to stop and just like rest, because your body like needs rest. And I'm just like going. So I say this a lot in these vlogs, but you got to be kind to yourself. Someone said the other day, like, oh, my kids are my number one. No, you need to be your number one. That's not a selfish thing to say, because if you're not on like your game, you can't be there for your kids. Like you have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your kids too. And I'm a single parent. Like it's not like I can, pass the torch to somebody else. Like, it's me. And granted, they're older and in college now and stuff, but that doesn't make parenting stop. It just makes parenting look different. And when your body needs a break, your body needs a break. And if you have to say no to commitments that you had because your body is like, then you need to say no. Your body has to come first. And if you cry, then cry. You don't have to feel like guilty or bad or less because like you had a really good cry. Because cancer sucks. And like you should have a good cry. Get it all out. If you're angry, you can go to a smash room or a rage room or whatever they're called. Somebody asked me to go do axe throwing, but I'm like, I don't think axe throwing is a great idea for me right now with my arm. I don't need to like go straight into physical therapy because I ruined my arm. But there's things that you can do. Like I got my tennis racket, and granted I could only hit the ball a couple of times, but it was still nice to hit it. There's things that you could do to get the anger out and to get the sad out. And you don't need to feel guilty for it. You shouldn't. You should feel proud of yourself that you're comfortable enough with yourself to let all those emotions out, because they need to come out. They need to come out in a healthy way, but they need to come out. And even if it's an ugly cry, like you're on the bathroom floor and you're like bawling and like you think you're going to vomit, so you're by the toilet. Everyone has their moments. It is what it is. If it's all the time, that's a different story, but once in a while, you just got to let it out. So I'm going to go back to watching Netflix, which I can't believe I'm saying out loud because I don't even like that I have Netflix. I'm just not a big TV watcher. Ha, the irony. But I'm not feeling great. Like I feel more comfortable now after talking to all of you. And and it's getting cooler out, so I have cooler air coming into my space. But yeah, my face is hot, like my body temperature is just off. And that's supposed to happen. Your hormones, if you didn't know, your hormones regulate your body temperature. So right now I have a whole bunch of medications saying goodbye hormone, which means goodbye regulation of body temperature. And it's just a weird thing to get used to, because then it's like, you know, what do you do with your hair? And you know, your makeup, you even have to watch, like, because you sweat and then your makeup starts going, and all of a sudden you have like foundation like halfway down your neck, and you're like, what the heck am I doing? And the clothes that you wear, and like everything is impacted when you don't have control over your body temperature. Will it be forever? No. I really hope that when I'm off the Lupron that I'm good to go. And if I have a hot flash every now and again, that's fine. But I just don't want to like be dysregulated in my body temperature all the time. All right, gratitude. I'm grateful that I have a new backdrop. And that my apartment is dry and clean and pretty. I really do like it here. I'm grateful for the woman that does my hair, because she did my roots yesterday and did my hair straight. I have not gotten a flat iron since I had my little flood thing, because most of my electronics are shorting out at this point because most of them got wet. So it's weird to have like straight hair again, but I love my haircut and I love my hair. I'm grateful for that eyebrow pencil, which I will show to you at some point. I don't even know if it's called an eyebrow pencil. Oh, so one side of it is those two little things to make like hairs, and the other side of it is like a mascara brush that you use to like brush your eyebrow when you're all done. And someday I will tell you what it's called. And I am grateful for my plastic surgeon, which I've said many times that he's a friggin' genius. But I'm not in pain anymore with my boobs. I'm very happy that I've now called them my boobs twice. They have scars on them, but like I've always said, even before all this cancer stuff, scars tell stories. Every scar is a story. And I have other scars on my body for other things, like minor things, obviously. But yeah, I mean, as much as I don't want to be part of the club, breast cancer is part of my story. And those are my scars. And like, what are you going to do? They are what they are. Alrighty, till next time. I will do a vlog about the bras and stuff. Just, it's not happening today. But I will do it soon. If you have any questions or anything, feel free. I would say not to email me, because I'm just not looking at my emails. Oh my gosh. I did try to catch up. I would say go on the Facebook page and message me through the Facebook page. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, or comment on the video when you're done. But the Facebook page is invasive ductal carcinoma, which I know is hard to spell, but what are you going to do? It's just what it is. Yeah, so you can get a hold of me there and share stuff here. You know, tell me, Jen, stop being glass half empty and whatever. Or you can say, go Jen, go. Whatever. It does all mean a lot to me. All right, till next time, everyone. Bye.